When we look at merchant adoption, Visa says about 80 of the top 100 US companies have said they're going to be ready for this, they're ready for tap and pay, but there are others who have said they're not or a little bit holding out, the likes perhaps of Walmart, of Nordstrom. How do you convince them that this is the way to go?
Well, I think every good business really wants to meet the needs of their customers, and you mentioned a couple of companies that are so laser beam focused on their customer and their experience. Tap and pay has proven everywhere around the world to be a superior experience for the customer. So I expect that as customers get used to it and merchants see that customers are delighted by the experience, the reality is the adoption will start to take off. Our experience around the world is that first 10% is the hardest 10% to get, and after that there's a snowball effect and it really takes off.
So after becoming a top-down transition, it'll be something that will become a bottom-up transition?
I believe it will be. The customer is king, the consumer is king, and if we create something that works for them and takes friction out of their lives, the reality is adoption will happen pretty quickly.
Now I know Visa has a big advertising budget. How much are people aware already that this is coming down the tracks?
This awareness question, Emma, is a great one. We're going to have to build it over time, and you see here in Grand Central Station, we've actually been working with Chase on a program to build awareness, and we're committed to work very hard as a great partner to the MTA and to our bank partners to build awareness, because the United States is really behind most of the rest of the world in the adoption of tap and pay, so some awareness building will have to happen. But after we start to seed that awareness building, the reality is that the influence marketing of consumers talking to consumers and merchants talking to merchants really takes off, and I think from there we'll see an explosion in terms of tap and pay adoption in the United States.
Now tell us why this is an important business move for Visa. How exactly does it help you?
Well, from our perspective, to the degree we get people in the habit of using the card, when they tap to pay using the MTA every day, they'll use it for getting their coffee, they'll use it for paying for their dry cleaning. It will get them into the habit of using it. And cash is expensive and it's a hassle to carry and you got to go to the ATM to get it. If you can just get used to using your card, it's the best way to go.
And so for Visa, this is a way about getting people to use less cash really and use your card more.
Absolutely. I mean, for us, it's a very important initiative to try to make sure that people are using a card, which is a very secure way to go, versus just using cash and carrying a lot of cash.
Al, what's the definition of success for tap and pay? Let's look a year into the future.
I think the definition of success is momentum. The reality is that consumers are starting to adapt, awareness is up, the number of cards in the marketplace is growing, and the number of transactions that are facilitated by tap and pay is in fact taking off. So to me, it's not about a specific absolute number, it's about momentum.
You can't give us a specific number though, perhaps?
Well, I think I would expect us to have half the MTA rolled out within a year from now, maybe more. I would expect at least 150 million cards, maybe 200 million by this time. But it's not about the cards, it's about how often people are using them, and that's the numbers we'll be watching closely.